Hello everyone, welcome to Power Platform with Muse. Today I'll be showing you how to create tables and columns. Before we do that, I want to explain what a table and a column is. So a table is like a container that holds data about one specific type of thing, and a column is a piece of information about that specific type of thing. So whereas a table holds data, a column is a data about the data. Tables and columns are basically the building blocks for your apps. They define what your data your app can store and work with. So to create a table, the first thing you want to do is come to make.powerapps.com page. And in here, there are two ways that you can create a table. So one is to click on the tables on the left-hand side here. And then you can just go and create a new table from here. The other one is to go to your solutions. This is the solution that we created in the last video. You go to your solution and you can create a table from within here. So you just click on new, you hover on tables, and then you click on table advanced properties. And in here is where you will name your table and define what kind of table you will make. So for our solution, I will make a table that holds car information. So the display name, I will make it car. And then another important thing here is a primary column. So a primary column is the main identifying field for every record in a table. So all the records that you'll have in that table, they will be identified through that primary column name. So for my primary column, I will just say car name. And in here you have advanced properties. So the schema name, that will be RT car. RT is for RATEC, that's our prefix. We have a standard type of table. So we have a few different kind of tables: standard, activity table, virtual table, and elastic table. We can discuss that in upcoming videos in depth. But these are the different kind of tables that you can create. The record and ownership, we'll discuss that more when we're talking about security, but for now, we will leave it as user or team. And then there are other options that you can enable here, such as auditing and table level security, setting up SharePoint document management, and so on. We don't really need to do all of that. So that will be our table, and we just save it. And that will create a table for us. So if I go to my solution now, if I just go back and I go into my solution, you will see that the table has been created. Now to create columns, you'll go into that table that you just created. And then you will click on columns here. There are all these columns that were created when we created that table. All this is done for you by Dataverse. It automatically creates this for you. You have status reason, owner, created by, created on. So all of these they come automatically when you create a table. If the columns that you need are not included in here, what you do is you click on new column and you create it from here. So for my column, I'll say this is the license plate, and I'll keep it. So when you go to data type, you have text, number, date and time, a lookup. A lookup we'll talk about when we are discussing relationships. You have choice, currency, and so on. So these are depending on the type of data that you're trying to fill in that column. You will choose a different data type for that. So if I put a text here, if I just leave it as a single line of text, what I can do is I can write numbers there, or I could also write text, so a string value that I can write. If you choose numbers, it will just be numbers that you can full numbers that you can put in. So if you click here, you have whole number, decimals, floating numbers as well. For date and time, that allows you to put a date and also time. Choices are yes or no, or different values that you can put. So you can say approved, drafted, rejected, cancelled, and so on. So different choices that you can have, but we'll talk about this in detail. So we'll leave that as text. You want the behavior to be simple, and then I'll just create that. So that's a column that I have created. I'll also create a few more columns. So show you. So I'll create one for the model. I'll leave that as text as well. So just that would be the model of the car. I'll save it. Next one I'll do will be the year the car was made, and I will keep that as whole number, and I'll save it. So whether the car was made in 2025, 2024, that's where you will fill that information. Another one that I have is going to be status. This basically will tell us whether the car is available for rent, whether it is in maintenance, or it has already been rented. So I will make it choice here. I don't want it to be a yes or no choice because I want to have different values. And what you will do here is when you come down, you see here, this is recommended, can be used in multiple tables and will stay updated everywhere. So if you decide to use a global choice, you can use it for any other table. However, I will not be doing that. I will just be using a local table or local choice, which can only be used within the table that I have created. And click on new choice. So this one, I want it to be available. This one, I want it to be rented. And this one, I want it to be maintenance. And you could also choose different colors if you want as well. I'm not really going to bother with that, but you could create new colors for your as an identifier here as well if you wanted. The default choice, yeah, we'll keep it as none. Default choice is basically if you wanted to just, whenever you click on that page, you want it to say available, rented, or maintenance, you can change it on the default table, on the default field, but I'll keep my default field as none, and you can just click on it and select whether it's available, rented, or in maintenance. So I'll save that. So this is how you create tables and columns on a high level. As we go forward with this series, I will be discussing more of it in depth. Thank you for tuning in today. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you soon. The next video will be on relationships, and in that video, we'll be talking more on the lookup column as well, on the lookup field. But yeah, see you then.